So Josh, we ventured up to the north coast today.
Sunny north coast.
The sunny north coast, aye, always sunny. So how was the open day for you?
Went well. First day went well, good crowd, plenty of folk all day. Probably more folk during the day on the first day than the second. And then last night we had a bit of a hiccup. The power went off about 6:30, but we've an old generator there, we got her going and a few less lights on, but worked well. But I would say going forward, a generator is definitely on the list of things we need here.
Yeah. So we take a walk through the yard then and
Aye,
sort of show
go on.
what we've got.
This probably kind of so the Pottinger announced this year they've replaced it with the Jumbo 5000 series, but they're stopping the Toro, which is a very iconic kind of name in the wagon world for the last 20 odd years. This is the last 6010 Toro we have new. It's a full spec one, so once it's gone, it's gone.
Future classic.
Future classic, yeah. I would say in a couple of years' time there'll be plenty of boys wishing they bought it, but she's here at the minute. Full spec. The new one is, look, that's a 2 metre pickup. The new one's 2.3 metre. We've more spec and a better probably axle system, but the knife bank and rotor and everything's all the same. So, but the new one is the moving front. But everything, as I say, moves forward and gets better. And the new one actually holds more and is 2 feet shorter. So it's not necessarily getting bigger, but it is getting more efficient anyway.
So that'd be sort of the norm kind of sale around here?
That would be our kind of, I would probably say that one would be more your large farmer into your contractor. Like you would be needing, the horsepower to run it isn't that big. Like you could probably run that thing in 160 horse, but it's more the weight of it. Like if you have anybody working with hills at all, you'd be wanting a 200 horse tractor in front of it, you know. But in general, Pottinger's not a hard wagon to run. But
so this is used machinery?
I use machinery, a couple of used wagons, a good Joskin spreader in the middle there, and there's bits and pieces, a bit where everything gets parked.
It's very interesting to see how far they've come along. Like.
Well, that's the Euro Profi 4000. That's a recent trade in there, but the new style Euro Profi came out in 2014. We've one in the shed there, but they went up a big jump and pickup and knife bank, and like even if you go to the Euro Profi 3, compare it to that one on the left, like it's some jump. But they're Pottinger keeps innovating and going forward. They're big in the wagon game. Bunning, then there's a Bunnings 15-year-old, you know, and it's a testament to how good a machine they are. Like they're fantastic. Brilliant paint on them, and like if somebody told you that machine was probably 5 or 6 year old, you'd believe them. But
oh yeah,
very tidy previous owner too. It's a credit to him as well.
And like it's not like muck spreaders don't take a lot of abuse. Like
no, they do, and it's funny.
They don't have the easiest life.
They're not the easiest life. Probably like in general. Over here, like those spreaders don't do a third of what they do over in England, but then in England they're getting an easier life. It's probably a very, you know, whether it's compost or whatever, it's an easier life over here. You could have a block and in over here.
Yeah. I'm noticing around here there's a lot more green tractors than orange now.
Been doing them since '86, and then I believe we took on Deutz, and it was either 08 or 09, I can't just remember, but probably, yeah, under 125 horse we probably still do as much Sammys as Deutz's, but above that, not really through any fault of our own, they only make Sammys up to 140 horse now, so it's more the Deutz brand. But yeah, no, I'd still be a Sammy man at heart.
Would these be a popular tractor then?
Good loader tractor, yeah, so they come in standard now with a loader light as they call it, so loader brackets and all your fittings and the joystick in the cab, they come standard from the factory like that. And SDF have been running a good deal on a loader, roughly $5 grand to add a loader to a new tractor.
Right.
Look, they've been doing it for the past couple of years. I don't know when they'll stop it, but they're doing it at the minute. And even if they don't need a loader, they're buying it because it's a good deal, and I suppose it's always handy to have a spare. And
good trade-in value too.
Good trade-in value too, yeah. But those are a good tractor, you know, they're 5-speed and 2 or 3 splitter, and you can get them with an electric lift or a manual lift, and good wide tyres, and we tend to get them in with a bigger hydraulic pump for a faster loader speed. So for your general yard tractor, your stockman, like they're hard to beat. I would say on the market of any brand, sort of the quality of those, the performance of them, and then if you pair it with kind of always the finance packages SDF are doing, they'd be hard to beat those anything on the market, to be honest. And a good cab too. 4 posts, plenty of visibility. The sunroof and them's right at the front, so really, really handy for a loader if you're in it and you lift the loader to full height. You look up and you're just looking at your bucket, so if you're filling into a diet feeder or something like that, very handy. Yeah, good trade in there, 2021 tractor. But that was a tractor, I don't know if it was that exact one, but one time Gareth, we had one out and demoed a gardener's potatoes, Strenocum there, and we had a demo. I don't know if it was that one, but it was the same model. Gareth videoed it. That was at the time. SDF did like a basic manual spool, manual gear stick tractor. We done quite a lot of them, so that's one of them in now, and the guys changed them, went again. So, but I don't know if it was that exact one, but there was a GRASSMEN video of that at a time. That's the big lady there.
The big lady. And I hear she's sold.
She's sold. Dad sold her. Yeah, it was nothing. I wasn't on the deal at all now, but yeah, she's going fairly local. 2 or 3 of those. Well, 2 of those would go against any self-propelled, I would say.
I fairly agree with you.
If you had 2 of them on a sensible cart against a medium horsepower self-propelled, the contractor would have a lot less cost and would have some performance.
Yeah, I'm noticing a bit of a trend. Like some contractors will be buying, or mostly down south, they'll be buying wagons as well to go along with their self-propelled.
I believe, and we believe here as a business, that like we're obviously North Antrim's a fairly populated contractor area, like, and I do believe going forward that there's a place for a wagon in every contractor's yard. You know, the likes of a man going there, maybe running several customers, 100 acres plus, fair enough, he wants to run the harvester. But if you're running customers with, you know,
40, 50
acres and maybe coming in and doing 2 or 3 of them a day, like sometimes those boys, you know, they want maybe the longer job. Send one wagon and one buck rake and go and do it, and spend, you know, half a day at it and go and do 2 in the day instead of 3, and then whenever you need to, if you're in a long cart, you have the wagon to go and lift anyway. But we've had contractors with wagons before that whenever they're using the wagon alongside the harvester, they tried it at the start filling in, but the wagon will hold that much more filling herself that they just, going forward, they just go into the field. If the harvester's sitting, they go and load themselves anyway.
Because if you're, say you're the farmer, you want, say, you've maybe half your grass cut, and the contractor's busy with the harvester, saying the wagon.
Yeah, and even the wagon only went for 3 or 4 hours till they get finished another job. No, it's versatile that way. I do, going forward, I see that as a thing, and like we've a few contractors around us running wagons now, good customers ours, and like even there, sometimes if the weather's going to beat, even we have men there who have their own wagon. If the weather, like even my uncle there has a wagon, and if the weather's going to beat him, he'll ring, you know, locally we have Philip McCurdy or Kenny Wilkinson them down the road, like bring them in and draw for an hour or 2 and get it in before the rain. Like that's the thing with wagons too. And even farmers owning them, plenty of farmers, say there's 3 or 4 in the locality, like they'll give each other a hand. Go and you draw to your neighbour for a day and he'll draw to you for a day, and no money changes hands. You'd soon put a lot in. It's a lot less than, look, the running costs less than self-propelled, that'd be plain to see, but definitely. No, there's a place for them in everybody's yard. I do believe wagons, whether it's somebody owning them themselves or whether it's going into the contractor route, I believe wagons will be a big part to play in our business's future anyway. There'll be a lot more to go. So especially if Pottinger keep innovating the way they do and going forward with it.
They're getting closer and closer to a self-propelled chop.
Yeah, like. Well, that one there now, there's some chop in that wagon now. But
this is a lovely colour.
Java green, yeah. So that's actually it's one of SDF's demonstrator tractors that got it up to us here. We have a couple of local guys wanting to demo it, but yeah, Java green. That's a well-spec tractor. You know, she's steering on her. I know the dome's not on the roof. 266 horse, 5 years, 0%. That's a hell of a value a tractor, but probably as big as you would see over here. We've done 3 or 4 7.250s in our time. Probably as big as we'd do going forward. You're not really needing it. Needing them more. Well, if a guy needs any more around here, it's hard to fit it in places and things like that. But no, I'm paired on to a set of Pottinger A9 butterflies. So
would that be the equivalent of your 270 New Holland, or?
New Holland's a tricky one. I never really understand their numbers because they talk about boost far more. Like, I don't know. I would say that'd be a heavier tractor than 270, but it probably is in round it, I suppose. Like, but it's. You would nearly need to look at what the number would be in a case, and that would be more what you would put it towards, because at least they put the horsepower on the bonnet.
This is another demo of yours this year.
Well, it's Pottinger Ireland's machine now, but we done a fair few demos with it. I'd say we done 7 or 8, and a good bit of interest going forward, and amazing machine to see going. And again, going forward in the future, like with things continuing to clamp down on farming, like farmers will be wanting to, particularly probably dairymen, will be wanting to make higher quality silage, and the merger, like, doesn't matter what brand the rake is, any type of rake in adverse conditions can pull dirt in.
Exactly.
So the merger's doing away with that. It's lifting the grass off the ground clean and presenting it down again. So going forward, we're going to see more mergers, I think, for that job. Like, but that worked this year and worked well. A couple of wee teething issues in a few areas, but Pottinger, obviously our guys are all very good here. And it's the thing, you know, growing up, whenever we done silage at the farm, all our guys here we would always have helped, and everybody would have been down at the farm. So like, I have no doubt that anyone that works in our workshop here could go out on a day, mow a field, tear a field, rake it, and lift with a wagon. It really helps. Like when we sell the new wagons, for example,
You know what they're talking
I can
about?
send any of our guys out to set it up, and they'll go and set sensors and go and lift, and you know. Whereas a lot of guys who've maybe been a mechanic right the way through never really got that field experience, whereas our men all have it. So no, we've good backup and on everything now, but the Pottinger stuff in particular. But so that wagon there is 7400, so that's basically exactly
The previous model?
No, it's still an available model. It's just exactly the same dimensions in every way as the 8400. Just the 8400 has a more densely knife. It's basically better chop length.
Okay.
Nearly that wagon doesn't have an auto knife sharpener right enough, but that's a 2023 one we sold and traded in there. So yeah, like same machine in every way. To be fair, a lot less horsepower requirement, but the extra horsepower in that other wagon is solely to get the grass through the chopping unit.
Yeah.
It's nothing more. Slurry equipped Cerberus tanker there, very kind of innovative product.
They seem to be becoming, I've seen a few of them about now.
Aye, they're getting there. Probably, look, they're offering them standard now, galvanised, and everything that Richard and the team at Slurry Equip do is second to none. Like, just quality, that's all he wants. So everything he does on it, it ends up an expensive tanker is what I'm trying to say. But like Richard said to me and Dad one day that he wanted to make a tanker that's minimum 20, it's a 20-year tanker minimum, and that one will be like, but that's the 10.2 mid-mount dribble bar on it, so you can actually see the front of the macerators open there if you wanted to get a look in at the blades on it and see how kind of aggressive they are. But like very, very aggressive cutting macerator, can kind of put anything through it. There's a video they have on, I think it's on Facebook somewhere, just feeding a brush shaft into it and it's just mangling it. But no, galvanised, like well-spec tanker, hydraulic changeover is standard, big pump is standard, obviously sprung drawbar, but the mid-mount dribble bar is the big feature in that. Like the user, for one, if you're on any way hilly ground, you're keeping all your weight on the drawbar whenever the tanker gets emptier, whereas obviously on a traditional tanker with a dribble bar / trailing shoe on the back, it might tend to bob whenever it gets empty. But the user then has full visibility. You can check, just turn your head slightly and see if you're blocked any pipes or anything like that. But no, very, very good design. That is downhill spread too, so it doesn't matter if you're going up or down to finish the load. Obviously traditionally you would have tried to finish spreading your load uphill, whereas in that it doesn't really matter at all. There's no bother.
You really do a bit of everything.
We do a lot of stuff now. We have our main probably 7 or 8 brands, but we, like, you know, Ross threw up that's a topper there. We do a few Wiley toppers here. It's not a thing we do an awful amount of, but like everything we do here, we try and sort of sell something that we would want in our own farm. Like it's all good quality stuff. There's nothing like that's, you know, Hard Ox drive couplings that says on there galvanised body. She's 18 blades and that. Like that topper will take anything. Like it's. You know,
and
if
then
you're
obviously,
sell one, you may as well sell the good one.
Obviously, if you're selling MD, you're selling buck rakes as well.
Aye, well that's so. Last year it was actually the first 2 buck rakes done there was to like Andrew and the team down at McConaughey's there. He got a 14-foot and a 12-foot folding Warrior. So he's, I think, as far as I'm aware anyway, they went very well for him in the season past. So Dean then actually said to him a couple of weeks ago he could send stuff up. So sent up the Warrior and the Falcon push-off. So
aye, the colour of McConaughey's is nice.
Aye, they look really well with the yellow wings now, they really do. So it really sets them off. And then Andrew got the nameplates put on them too, which just sort of sets them off as well. But MD's another brand again, like, you know, like your Slurry Equip and so many others, like they pride themselves on quality, like everything, you know, again, might not be the cheapest in the market, but it's there to last. And
Yeah.
like everyone's like, even, you know, they do a lot into the digger attachments. Like there's the Scorpions, had a good few inquiries for those the other day. Like again, they're dearer than some other things out there, but you know, as Dean said to me,
Pay for what you get.
well, he wants them to be working on a contract every day, and he wants them to be there for a very long time. It's not the sort of thing you're going through an attachment every year.
Yeah.
They want them to last. So
Into the show shed.
we done this shed in 2013, finished in 2014, I think. So been probably one of the biggest things in the yard we've done in my lifetime as such. But Ed's paid for itself many times now, because we keep all our stuff in here, you know, or kind of, what would you want to call it, everything that's premium over winter would sit in here.
Yes.
Your best second hand stuff, and then we have it for the likes of open days and product evenings and things. And yeah, we done put a loft in it a couple of years ago, because I started the Kawasaki and Suzuki thing whenever we come home from, or whenever I come home from uni, sorry, and local dealer kind of closed up, and I was very lucky to apply for it and get it. And a good row of Dodge tractors in here, a couple of which are sold locally.
That's a lovely size of tractor.
Lovely. That's kind of the 6.4. Whenever they launched that, they called it kind of the cross farming. So it's, you know, it's still a heavy enough tractor that you could go and put a 2,500 gallon, 2,300 gallon tanker on it.
Yeah, or stick a mower on it.
You could stick, you know, you probably, like, to be fair, you'd have the power, it would just maybe the weight on it. You could put a set of front and sides onto that. But it's still, it's the big cab kind of on a smaller body. Operator comfort, flying around, doing general farm tasks. Like, generally, you know, if a farmer is getting the contractor to do most jobs, like that'll run a feeder wagon, it'll mix slurry, it'll spread a few loads of slurry, it'll go onto a dump trailer, you know, it'll work a hedge cart, it'll do everything you really
need it to do.
Yeah. And it's not in a big package. Like, I know there's plenty of yards around, our yard included, there's plenty of yards around here with smaller access points, so the more compact size, just
the better.
You know, yeah, definitely.
So is this a new Sammy?
Yeah, so this is actually a new Sammy Explorer Natural. That's going locally to a man in Armoy. These are a new range of the Turkish-built tractors, so they're kind of all new. This is the first one we've had in.
Right.
But very similar again, like the Deutsch behind you there is kind of, you can get that in red, exactly the same.
Yeah.
But there's about 10 grand of difference in them, but I don't really know where there's 10 grand of build difference in them, to be honest. But
Sammy cheaper or the
No, it wouldn't matter if it was a Sammy or a Deutsch. In either of them, they're about 10 grand cheaper or dearer.
Oh, okay.
But they're built in Turkey, but you know, they're still running the farm motion engine and same transmission, the manual spools. Again, it comes loader ready, or loader light, sorry, as they call it. And then behind we have the Sammy Virtus 135. It's a new RV shift transmission, which is that transmission. They have it, and they brought it out in that tractor. They now have it in that 6.4s we're chatting about over there. But it's essentially a CVT but with electronic power shifts in it. So in a normal gearbox, whenever you change gear, obviously the transmission's physically changing the splitter gear or the gear, whereas in that there it's electronic, so it's just instantly, you can just bang, 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 and there's no lag, no anything, and it's a real nice tractor. It probably will, and the bigger tractors come out sometime down the line, but it's an amazing tractor for the crossover between kind of field work and road work.
Yeah.
So, no, that's something that you probably should look into, to getting you out to try one time.
Back in the Sammy game.
Well, I can get Sammy or Dutch. Really. And then Richie, something we started last year.
So this is a new venture then?
New venture we've done, probably been at it a year to be fair, done bits and pieces. We've took it on and done bits and pieces, but they're fairly varied. You know, you have your Bale soft hands, kind of one of their biggest sellers would be that automatic crush head, and then your scoop on it too. And but whenever he came in here, you know, he brought in the hurdles and he wanted to set everything up. He says there's nothing like a live demo. You know, he was able to show, this is the calving gate, he was able to show, you can move this bar to do this cesarean and lift this bottom bar up round for a calf to suckle on the cow, but everything's, and then probably one of their main sales points is the combi clamp. we've done a couple of those so far, hope to do a lot more, but like a man running a lot of sheep. I seen Connor over here last night chatting to Jim, so I don't know if he's wanting to do something with one, but like a man running a lot of sheep, you know, for your access, and like everything's just well thought of. Like even, I don't know if you can get in close enough to that, but everything on Richie, they fold over all their panels, like you're not going to cut your hand
okay, yeah.
on it.
Nothing's left sharp.
Yeah, and like, you know, clamp your animal in, work in behind at the rear legs. And
whenever you're reaching in trying to get at sheep, so last thing you need is to cut.
And there is the bars there, we don't have the height because of the loft, there's a bar hanging above your head, you could put clippers on it or a dosing gun or whatever, you know. It was actually telling me the other day, they just tipped over 3,000 of those made, so it's a lot of combi clamps.
There'll be plenty of demand for it around here, anyway.
There definitely is, and hopefully going forward in the next few years we can do a bit more of that stuff too, but no, just general stuff in here. Doing bunning, I think it was 1992 that they took it on. I could be wrong with that, but that's kind of a machine born out of our yard. That 105 compact is a full 1 metre shorter than the standard 105.
Okay.
It was kind of, I think it was Grundy wanted one made with a flared side, and they called it the compact. It was actually a 75 before we flared, and then they made it. But that'll be our most popular machine now, 100%. It's well made, well painted.
Good size.
Good size for this country, get it in and out. You'll still put 13.5, 14 tonne of heap load in it. And those machines are going. Sure, you've seen that 15-year-old one, they're going down there. They'll do a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like generally, if we sell them to a farmer, you don't really see them in for about 15 years. The contractors maybe change them more often, but that's what we want too, because it gives us second-hand stuff in as well. And then this is kind of a new machine. Well, it's not a new machine. The 60's been a machine for a few years, but this year we're finding a trend going forward. Obviously, there's a lot more guys now going into the route of like a layer house or plenty of broiler guys are always about.
There's a lot of chicken houses going up.
A lot of chicken houses going up, and a lot of chicken houses, I suppose, look, no two ways about it, making good money at the minute. So guys maybe before where they got a contractor are maybe now going more for wanting their own spreader. That spreader there, we got the 60 made kind of similar to that, I'd say, with a big extension side. Bunning wouldn't do it without doing it right. They only did it, so that machine has a heavier duty axle in it now than the standard one, and then we got them to put that 620 tyre on. So it's kind of, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to call it, like Stumpy 60 or what, but we've settled on 60 XL. We actually got those stickers made locally. So,
right.
But like going forward, I think primarily for the poultry industry, that'll be a big thing. As you Kawasaki's, that's the mule range, SX, MX, and DX is kind of, I tried to say to Dad one time, is small, medium, and diesel. It's kind of so they're probably our most popular machine is that middle machine, the 700cc petrol. Brilliant machine, reliability,
safe.
About 50 mile an hour speed. Yeah, safety is a big aspect now. Like we have a lot of guys. The amount of people that buy those solely for, I tend to see the middle generation man buys it. Like maybe his father and mother's maybe slowing down a wee bit, and it's something for them to get about on. And then they have a few youngsters about the farm, and you nearly tend it's the middle generation man buys it for the
either side,
and then obviously him and his wife and his family all can use it too. But no, good machines. We never ever thought they'd be as big a part of the business as they are. As I say, Kawasaki is a good household name, as they say, but we're pushing into different things. Like there's a CF moto down the end there, that'll U4 600. I know you have the 1000. So no, that's actually it. We've done a 1000, but that's actually our first 600 in. So plenty of interest in open days and all of the stuff. But yeah, CF moto quads is going well, and with the Suzuki's at the other end too. And kind of we bought that at a time to showcase where the wagons have went from and came to, or whatever you want to call it. That wagon's 19. Is that they're doing 63. That's 1981. Yeah. We did a video at a time. We actually bought it. We had a demonstration day one time, and that was bought. That Nuffield tractor is the first tractor my grandfather ever sold brand new, so it was in and out 3 or 4 times, and it was kept. And as you see the bulge in the bonnet there, it was in the workshop at a time, and it was turboed. So I think that thing's doing about 140 horse, but no, a couple of mowers and tethers, and good interest in mowers and tethers yesterday. Everyone's sort of pushing on. The Pottinger front there, Alpha Motion's probably the main. Like they were the first to kind of pioneer that flotation front mower, and basically every other manufacturer has caught up now. But for years we were on our own with a flotation front mower. Like there's nothing like it.
The Pottinger's just such a popular brand in this country. Like
aye, and it's been at it for years, and like, and my father and I always put a lot of effort into it. But Pottinger as a company are so willing to, like, you know, they'll listen to everything you're doing, and like, Ireland's a very important market to them as well as probably even more so than mainland UK. Like I would say Ireland's as important. Like grass over here, and you can even see that now with like their new machine, like that jumbo's kind of our probably. That's going to be our bread and butter going forward.
The new bread and butter.
That's the new. We were talking about that Toro at the start, but going forward that'll be the new one. But like, you know, shows commitment from Pottinger. They were prototype testing over here. They had a machine going actually with Rutledge's down there like for almost a full season, and like, they wanted loads. They just wanted loads and loads and loads through it, and
just so they can
just to see what if it's going to do anything wrong, if it's going to do things right. And obviously there'll still be niggles and anything with a new machine, but like over that Toro up the lane, you know, we're still a very similar rotor and knife bank configuration, but like we're into a 2.3 metre pickup.
Yes.
And you know, basically from that bar forward is more carrying space. Yeah, and still in the 826.5 tyres, and as I say, 2 full feet shorter than that other one. So, but that's a machine, we demoed that kind of end of the summer, and I would say this winter.
Good response?
Good response. A few wee, at the very start, nothing to do with the machine in any way, bar the front board. We had a few wee niggles and just figuring out what way to set it to get the best load. Because funny, people in wagons kind of like it the way a silage trailer and blow the grass 5 feet above the board. But like when you're doing that, there's no compaction.
Yeah.
So, like the secret of a wagon is like, I mean, everybody says it's hard to buck rake, but I actually think most of the thing to do with it being hard to buck rake is the compaction, because on most of them wagons they're putting about 1.5 cubic metre into 1 cubic metre. So we would have seen it mostly down at our own farm there. You come in and tip the load and say at 5:30 and went up for your dinner and come back down, the load was half the size again because it just had expanded. But that's obviously what like we'd done demos and stuff with guys before running with harvesters, and as they said, you know, they're going into a half pipe load of say 2-3 buck rakes taken away, they're maybe needing 5 or 6 to the wagon. Like it's
because they're coming in and hitting a wall nearly.
It's the sheer amount of grass in it more than anything. But
it's perfect size, really.
Perfect size, a nice length. It's actually no taller than that wagon up the lane, and it's no wider. The pickup now is 2.3 metres. You know, just watch a bit more gates, but bar that, it's like we're going to be 100%. No, looking forward, we probably have 4 or 5 guys this winter thinking of going that route, so we'll see. And Pottinger's running good deals at the minute. We'll see how we.
Always helps.
Yeah, it does always help.
So what's next for Hunter Kane's then?
Probably, don't know. I haven't really asked that in a while. Probably just try and keep going the way we are. We've took on a fair few agencies in the last, probably since I came home from uni, I suppose, but like 5 years. But no, push on with stuff. We've a few, you know, we're wanting to probably at the stage now where I need another. Everybody could always do another man in the workshop to help the boys out, and probably somebody else in the office and things like that. But not going forward. Generally, we've had a good year, but generally we find, look, in the machinery game, and every dealer will tell you the same, if farming does well, we do well. Yeah. It's all relevant. Like, there's never a year if farming produce prices are down that we're doing well, because obviously, like, it's all relevant. But that's what I think the general public don't realise, that in farming, with everything all that's going on at the minute, like, you know, when farmers do well, it's all well and good what money farmers spend nearly every penny they make. So, and that's all floating back down through the economy again. But the general public are very, for want of a better word, very stupid to that. So, but I don't know what we'll see. But no, going forward, look, we've probably a shed in next door there. We never even looked in around it, but it's probably have second-hand stuff in it. Probably like to maybe put a new floor in it on the roof and a few things around here. And put in a new computer system this year, which was a very big expenditure for just software. But as I said at the start of it, I need to get a generator. But no, we do the thing right, and like we have a full-time paint man took on this year. Our spray bay's just in through that wall, and like we'll bring in second-hand stuff and spend a couple of $3,000 on it, and something, you know, speculate to accumulate. You spend $2 or $3,000, it's maybe worth $4 or $5 more. Like, it's all, everything that comes out of here, there'll be nobody will tell you we're the cheapest dealer to buy from, but we send stuff out and it's right, and that's it's serviced right, it's touched up right, and we like to think we have a very, very good backup, and like Heather runs a very good store in there, and so we've everything that way. So no, we're going forward, just keep going as we are.
Keep tipping on.
Keep tipping on.